I don't believe you when you say, you don't see color. It's one of the greatest cop-outs. It is a truth universally known that whites have more power than blacks in the Western world. There's an old saying that is uttered by someone who is not black and is confronted with racism, I'm color blind. I don't believe that statement one bit. Now you may be clinically color blind and unable to see specific colors, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the people who ignore the fact that we all come in different colors, yet we are still human. They are putting a bandage on their continually growing biases and pretend as if they don't have them, and that is dangerous. These people who claim to be color blind should say, yes, I see that you are black, and I know you are also human. We all come in different colors and need to acknowledge that what Western society has taught us is wrong. A European complexion is not better or superior to another. But when someone says they don't see in color, they are not acknowledging our differences and accepting them, they are ignoring the problem, and let me be clear, Houston, we have a problem. The laws and norms of America have consistently hindered the progress, well-being, and safety of black people because we have yet to acknowledge our bias and act upon it. When someone says I don't see color, they are not taking advantage of an opportunity to learn from people of color, and the struggle they still face in 2020. Instead of hiding from our biases, we should identify them. It's uncomfortable to admit that one may be part of the problem, but if we don't acknowledge it, how can we fix it? Questions we should ask ourselves. Why do I give a wide berth in the street when a black person approaches me? Why do I feel fear when I see a black person? Why do I change my purse from my right shoulder when a black person approaches me on that side? What do I know about black history? Do what I know about black history come from a black person? If not, find the source to get the information. Saying I'm colorblind is a cop-out. To get away from being uncomfortable, because racism is painful and even more so, when you find out, you are part of the problem. Let me be honest, most of us are part of the problem. I include myself in that. I come from the Dominican Republic, where it is still prevalent to uplift a lighter shade than a darker shade Dominican. Where society still thinks straight hair is more beautiful than natural hair. Not too long ago, Sammy Sosa bleached his skin. People there are quick to acknowledge their European ancestry and ignore their African descent, even though most of the island is black. Being born into that environment is tough. As a kid, I didn't understand what was right or wrong and emulated my environment. It took me years to acknowledge that some comments and teachings from family and home were false. But it took a lot of soul-searching, reading, introspection, and the creation of a diverse circle around me, from which I could learn from. I found out that a lot of the history I learned in the doctor and the U.S. was one-sided. The conquistadors muted the oppressed voices. Western society's picture of oppression was painted using broad strokes, with no details, and it looked superficial. Nonetheless, I dig for the truth, because something about the slavery narrative never sat well with me, and I'm one to go down a research rabbit's hole till I'm satisfied that I have found the truth. When I learned, and I'm still learning, my heart felt so heavy. But I didn't learn from textbooks, I learned from culture, the art of black authors, poets, and filmmakers that share their truth, sometimes in a fictionalizing style, to a massive audience. Maya Angelou, Octavia Butler, Spike Lee, James Baldwin, Angie Thomas, Michelle Obama, former President Barack Obama, Issa Rae, Sidney Poitier, Shonda Rhimes, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Frederick Douglass. Those have been my teachers. Through their words and their art, I've learned about racism, oppression, and the systemic power struggles that still prevails in America. I once had a boyfriend change the channel because he doesn't watch black movies. I changed the channel back and changed my boyfriend after that. It gets under my skin when people say, I'm colorblind, because I used to say that, and I know it's a cowardly way of not acknowledging one's shortcomings. If we are to break away from the systemic racism, we need more non-black people to acknowledge not only their privilege but also their biases. How can we teach others to treat our black brothers and sisters as human beings, if we haven't worked through our own misconceptions? We need to be present for them. Not just outraged. This has gone on for so long, it shouldn't shock people anymore. The time is now to take action. We've gone on for too long, staying quiet or saying we are color blind. If we don't put in the work, our black brothers and sisters will continue to die because of our inability to take action. The power balance in the U.S. favors the white, and with great power comes great responsibility. Therefore, we need to encourage others to vote and protect POC from intimidation in the ballot box. When we hear racist comments from our family, friends, and home, we get uncomfortable and stop it. Vote for legislation and demand legislation that uplifts and protects our black brothers and sisters. Be there for them. If you see a cop approach them, stand in solidarity with them. Protest with them. Contribute to black businesses, black entrepreneurs, black creatives. Demand the vetting of public servants. We already know racists are attracted to positions that give them power over the vulnerable population. We've seen it much too often in the police. Still, they are also teachers, EMT, healthcare professionals, military, government clerical racists, and as long as we keep using these types of people, we will continue to have a power imbalance because they will favor those they are comfortable with. It took me 5 minutes to take a bias test, link here. Why can we demand a similar vetting for those who serve the population? That means that we need to vote and hire diverse leadership. If our communities are not all white, our leaders, corporations, groups, shouldn't be. If you are in a position to hire diverse. We can acknowledge our biases and work on them all day long, but some actions will be subconscious, and we won't even know we are doing it. This is why our leaders must represent our society. Society is not all white. Therefore, representation shouldn't be all white. Why are there not more POC public servants? Because we don't support them, we don't vote for them, we don't believe in them. To fix systemic racism, we need to change the leadership with POC leaders, because only they would truly understand what it feels like to be black in America and what we can do to fix the inequalities against them. It's like a man telling a woman what she should do with her body. Sounds familiar? It's easy to look the other way or say I'm colorblind, but we need to take the road less traveled on this one and get uncomfortable, feel at least an inch of their pain, because if our black brothers and sisters are not okay, we are not okay either.